Thank you very much. So our question is, are these unprecedented White House departures a sign that the Obama White House is disintegrating? Joining us now is syndicated radio talk show host Ben Ferguson. Our friend Matt Miller is still with us. You know, Ben, I want to ask you, what is your instinct? I mean, you're not a White House insider. I'm not a White House insider. Is Obama pushing these people out? Did he push General Jones out and before Rahm Emanuel? Is it his dissatisfaction with his own people?
Well, I think if you look at it, guys like Emanuel and others, they want to use the president, and they want to use that position. He wanted to go back to Chicago. I think the difference with Jones here is they never had a very good relationship from the beginning, and this has been no secret in Washington that many times he thought he was being trumped by the inner circle of Obama administration, which is the biggest complaint I've heard from Democrats is, look, the people that are actually supposed to be advising the president are getting trumped by people that are really close friends with the president. And at some point, you're saying, I'm done with this. And I don't think they had a friendly relationship. The scary part is the people that are taking these positions when these guys are leaving look like the campaign staff from his election and his re-election campaign that I'm sure they're going to leave when they want to go back to work for him to get him to be president again. That's scary because you got campaign staffers making major national security decisions. As an American, I don't like that.
All right, Matt Miller, that's an interesting point. Is Obama gone back to the campaign staff, having tried to reach outside? I mean, obviously, General Jones was kind of a priceless recruit because Obama didn't have any foreign policy experience. But it sounds like, and what I'm gathering from the Washington grapevine, is that Obama himself pushed out General Jones, especially after Jones called the political advisors water bugs in the Bob Woodward book. So is this Obama, like, getting rid of Jones?
I don't know if he's getting rid of him, because I agree with what Ben said. I think this was a long time in coming. There is something unseemly, Larry. You know, so I worked in the Clinton White House. You didn't have so many high-profile people leaving before the midterms. You know, sort of after the midterms might be the normal course of things, and there'd be some turnover. But a lot of folks, I think, for certain personal aspirations, have departed early in this kind of drip, drip, drip way that altogether gives the impression that you know, folks are fleeing the ship. So I think that's a concern.
Yeah, well, and you look at it. Look at his economic team. I mean, I think a lot of those guys jumped ship because they realized they didn't want to be connected with a colossal failure any longer than they already were. Now others like Orszag that were, hey, I'm a good friend, and then all of a sudden, I think he was more or less kind of pushed because the president, at the end of the day, he's going to get rid of whoever he wants to make it look like he's making changes. The problem is, you've seen this. It's carbon copies that are replacing 90% of these people that are leaving high profile. So the president's not getting any different perspective. It's almost like, all right, you're second in line, now you're first in line, you're going to be this guy. There's nothing that's going to change from policy from this White House, and that's what I don't understand is, you know where you are, you know where the economy is, you know for the last 14 months unemployment's been above 9.5%, and you got no one coming in to help you with that problem that have any different ideas. That's scary.
Matt Miller, can President Obama manage the executive branch? You know, this was an issue raised by some during the campaign. I'm not being snarky here. I'm just putting this on the table. There's a lot of people, including my friend Charles Krauthammer, who raised this early in the game, okay? I heard him say it to him at a dinner at George Will's house that I attended with the president and a bunch of other conservatives. It seems to me with this massive departure, even before the midterms in year 2, you have to ask the question. I'll ask you, Matt, can he manage the executive branch?
I mean, I think the answer is obviously yes. And remember, these departures aren't the executive branch. It's the core part of the White House staff. But having said that, I agree that he's going to need to reboot and do a kind of Obama 2.0 after the midterms. I think a really good idea would be to bring in a senior business leader into the inner circle. And the guy who I think would be great is Reed Hastings from Netflix. He's a guy who's a serial entrepreneur, understands innovation, entrepreneurship, the Silicon Valley economy. He was also the California State Board of Education president, so he's a twofer. He gets education, he gets the policy.
But you know that President Obama is not going to do that. I mean, look at the czars when all them came in. I wasn't paranoid about the czars like many were on the conservative side going, he's taking over government. The czars, to me, represented his lack of knowledge on business and all these other aspects. He had to find people to literally give him cliff notes so that when he walked in the room with the actual decision makers, he knew what was going on. He doesn't understand business. He doesn't understand the economy, and he doesn't have enough business people around him. So he got czars to say, hey, give me the cliff notes so when I walk in there and I'm making these decisions, I can be up to speed on things. And that's embarrassing that a president has to do that.
Matt, let me just go back to Reed Hastings, because the idea of a senior business guy in there is really important. But we're not seeing any evidence of that at all. Is this Reed Hastings? He ran Netflix, you say. Is he close to President Obama? Do you have any evidence that he's talking to President Obama?
No, this is me floating this as an idea to make news on the Kudlow report, Larry. But I think he's the kind of guy, if you were saying, what's the kind of central casting you would have, it's a Silicon Valley entrepreneur who's also very steeped in education policy and gets the connection on how these things can form the kind of new economy. I think that perspective would be very important to have close in the White House, and I hope that he'll go for something like that as he reboots.
I mean, I agree, but I don't think he's going to do it, because I don't think any real big CEO is going to take a chance with tarnishing their entire career going to a White House that genuinely does not listen, one, to outside people, and two, does not understand the economy and doesn't understand job creation, tax cuts, or anything when it comes to health care. Look at all these companies are saying we want exemption, and they're bowing to the pressure, but they also realize it's a huge black eye if you have McDonald's and all these other companies coming out against you when you run for re-election.
So, Matt Miller, last word. Tom Donilon is taking over as National Security Advisor. It's a gigantically important position for the nation's security. In your estimation, is he up to the job?
He's a very smart, talented, seasoned Washington hand. He's not a man with lots of experience with the Pentagon. And so I would be looking for some kind of tension behind the scenes. You know, he's not a Jim Jones in that respect, who has enormous respect from the military. My guess is that'll be an issue.
No,
it's another yes man that could have been the chief of staff, so he didn't get that, so he gets this. It's another Obama yes guy.
I've heard he has no good relations with the military. That doesn't sound good, but let us not judge Donald. We'll see. Matt Miller, we appreciate it very, very much. Thank you ever so much. Ben Ferguson, as always, great to see you. Up next on Kudlow, the battle for